Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to another Transformers review. This time we're looking at the Revenge of the Fallen Asda exclusive Voyager class Ramjet. Now Ramjet here is a straight up redeco of the 2007 movie Voyager class Starscream mould, and he more than any other is a one-to-one kind of repaint. Now we've looked at Skywarp previously and he was more of a redeco of the Thundercracker variant of this mould, and you could tell of that because of the different type of head he had. Ramjet, he has the same Starscream head, but we'll have a look at that in greater detail later. So just like his fellow movie seekers, he turns into an F-22 Raptor, and because it is the first movie mould, it's quite a boxy apparatus that we've got going on here. I mean, from certain angles it looks like a passable F-22 if you were able to ignore all of this, but then coming to the underside, that's a lot of kibble, isn't it? You can tell the legs, the arms, the head is poking up there, barely covered by a faux faceplate thing. So it's not the most convincing F-22 Raptor in the world, is it? Paint scheme wise are really nice. You've got white, you've got red wings as per usual with a Ramjet, and you've got little black fins on the back there. You've got a translucent yellowy gold cockpit with a pilot seat sculpted in there as well, and a nice Decepticon logo on the nose cone. So overall, it's a kind of meh jet. Later versions of the Starscream figures have done it far better. Yeah, paint-wise, nice, but as alt modes go, a bit naff. We'll quickly cover accessories now, because Ramjet doesn't really come with anything else. He does have missiles, as you can see here, just like Skywarp. Now, the reason why I'm showing them off here is because if we slot about half of them into the guns, then what we'll try and do is demonstrate how he goes about shooting them in jet mode. And you can see there's a tab right here. Now the theory is, as he rolls, the wheel and the gear system in here is meant to turn these, and as the red bits here jot against this little tab, that is what fires the missiles. So let's see if we can demonstrate this and not lose the missiles as we go. Well, it worked. Otherwise, if you don't want the missiles stored there, then there is this handy dandy little thing on the side here, and then you can just reverse ways pop the missiles in there, and that's kind of your ammunition storage. Before we move on to transformation, I just want to show you Ramjet's box. Unlike Skywarp, I actually have it for Ramjet. Skywarp I got secondhand off eBay, but Ramjet I actually did seek down in Asda. And for Americans, Asda, our version, it's Walmart basically. You have Walmart, we have Asda, it's the same kind of thing. Anyway, he comes in this really cool, clear plastic box. You've got your usual render of the character in the corner there, and it comes with a limited edition collector's card. Now I don't know if you can tell, it morphs depending on the angle. You've got an F-22 jet there, and then you've got robot mode. I've never taken the card out, and I don't intend to take it out. As you can see there, it changes, and that's super cool. Turning to the back, you can see there is stock images of the character right there, and then there is some text. Feel free to pause that to read it at your own leisure. Okay, so to transform Ramjet into robot mode, the first thing that we're going to do is unclip the wings right there at the tips. And then we're going to take these, untab it from the side, little tabs in via a little peg there and a little hole there. And then bring these on their hinges down and out of the way like that. Now we've unclipped the wings there for the sake of the automorph. We also need to unclip the cockpit somewhere around about here. Again, the transformation for this guy is exactly the same as it is on the Skywarp figure that we've looked at previously. So hinge that all up and just rest it on there. We'll come back to the automorph in a second. What we're going to do is we're going to flip the figure over, and then we are going to untab the legs from the underside like that. We are going to open up these cavities right here, and then we're going to, with maximum effort, because it's an old figure and he's aging, we're going to pull on the legs, and they're on sliders, and we're just going to come out like that. We're going to thread them through the gaps here. We can close up these cavities once we come to these parts and flip out the black panels right there. Flip them all the way through, and now you can close these cavities. And then you can rotate the legs out like that. And then rotate them at those joints right there. And then you can flip out the feet. And then we'll bend him into the whole chicken leg thing in a short while. Then, looking at the top of the figure, we want to take the faceplate, we want to fold that out. And then comes the automorph. So what you're meant to do is push back on the cockpit section. You can see it's on this slider apparatus here. And then that will form the triangular Dorito shape that we are familiar with Starscreams. So let's give it a go. What we might need to do, though, is manually do it by pulling on the wings and moving them up. That just might be the most convenient thing to do. But as we can see, it's doing it. There we go. So by hinging all of that up, then we get this explosion happening here. Now, what you'll find with these black fins here, very likely to fall off. You want to try and angle them so that you've got clearance to move these wings past, and that actually worked without issue. That's amazing. That rarely ever happens. Bring the wings and fold them all the way to the back like that, and then fold them in half. And you've got that going on. And then what I though like to do is just to move them up, bring the nose cone section up, take the little black tab here, fold it up so you've got a peg now exposed, plug that in, and then bring the wings back over, and theoretically that should keep this in place and stop it from unpegging and falling back down. And then we're going to tidy him up at the neck and shoulder sections. We're going to take those bits, fold them flat, and then take these and angle them like so. So you've got this very diagonal kind of thing going on. And then with the shoulders, we want to bend them there, bring the arms down like that, and just rest them against the tips of the red wings. They don't plug in, unfortunately, which is a bit of a design flaw with this figure, not going to lie. And then with the legs, get his legs into the mushroom, not the mushroom, the chicken leg. I've got mushroom peg on my mind. Get it into the chicken leg position somehow. I was going to try and do one, then a second click back, and it's just protesting, and I realised that the reason is I've got his legs the wrong way around. Do it so that the white is on the outside like that, and then you can go 1, 2, and then 2 down that way. That was my mistake. I had it around the wrong way. But otherwise, that is more or less Ramjet. The only last thing to do, really, I suppose, is pull out these bits. So you've got kind of like a claw thing going on. But otherwise, that's Ramjet fully transformed. Okay, so Ramjet. He's certainly something, isn't he? It's the first movie Starscream mould. It is what it is. It's not exactly amazing, is it? But the reason why I got this figure and Skywalker back in the day is because that they were rare redecos of this mould, and I wanted a movie Starscream mould. To this day, the only other movie Starscream mould I have is the Dark of the Moon Deluxe Thundercracker. Yeah, I actually still don't have a legitimate Starscream from the films. Isn't that sad? Now, anyway, let's focus in on the face, and as we know, it is just a straight up reusage of that first movie Starscream. Doesn't look really that accurate. It's as close as you was going to get in 2007. He does have light piping, and as we can see, it is a very nice bright orange. Excellent light piping on this guy. But otherwise, we've still got the same kind of colorization going on here. You've got the white, you've got the red, and you've got the black. Same thing, coming down and panning on the chest here. One thing I've forgotten to do is to spread that a little bit. The idea is that there's some more detail in there, and it just helps break him up a little bit more. You've got some nice paneling on the Dorito little crevices right there, and you've got some decent detailing on the fins there. You've got some bronze now showing through where some of the joints are, and yeah, he is short. Well, he's not short, he's actually quite big for a Voyager, but he's stocky, and he is very much a product of 2007, isn't he? Yeah, he very much is. He doesn't have hands, he just has these rocket launcher gimmick sort of things, with a pathetic excuse for like a claw thing to mimic sort of a hand. Yeah, he very much is 2007 Transformers. Okay, so for articulation and posability, doesn't have a great deal, does he? His head is on a pin and can rotate 360 degrees, but that's it. He's got nothing in terms of looking up, and he can't look down at all. In terms of the shoulders, he can rotate them 360 degrees like that. They can spread out like that. They don't tab in. This is a similar situation to the new Legacy Armada Megatron, where the shoulders just don't tab in. So if you want to move them about, they're going to come unstuck. He has a rotation right there of 360 degrees, and then in terms of an elbow bend, he's got just under 90 degrees. And then of course these can rotate for days. He has nothing at the waist and no ab crunch of any kind. He has a forward kick only of about that much. That's really kind of pathetic. And then a back kick of only about that much. So that's also quite pathetic. It is a ratchet joint though, but that's not exactly a saving grace for him. In terms of the spread, I mean, he spreads, but it's not beautiful at all. It's just kind of meh. In terms of, he's got like a strange butterfly thing going on here at the hip as well. In terms of the knees, well, he's got all the chicken leg things, so you've got a range of motion, quite a decent range of motion when it comes to the legs there. And on several hinges, you've got rotation there, which is ultimately blocked by the kneecap, but if that wasn't there, then he could do 360 degrees of rotation. And then at the feet, he's got up and down tiltage. He doesn't have any rocker of any kind. So yeah, that's kind of it. Overall articulation leaves a lot to be desired for this guy. I think he's primarily just meant to stand on a shelf and look somewhat pretty. Okay, for comparisons then, here are the two Walmart exclusives, or Asda exclusives. Ramjet on the left and Skywarp on the right. And now here's Ramjet with the only other kind of movie star screen mould I've got, being Dark of the Moon Thundercracker. Humongous size difference, but yet Thundercracker is the better figure. Now to compare him with the only other Ramjet I've actually got in my collection, here he is with Classics Ramjet. And then finally, here he is with our friend Mysterio. To transform Ramjet back into F-22 Raptor mode, let's first close up his little hands, or digits, whatever you want to call these claw things that he's got going on here. And then let's just move the arms out like that, and then flip him over, straighten out his legs and straighten out his toesies. And then take the nose cone apparatus, just move it down and out of the way, come to the back, get these wings up and out, come to the chest, and we're going to reverse the automorph here by pulling this down. You might just need to help it along manually. There we go. Straighten out the wings. Get all of this clipped in. Voila, like that. Can rotate these up, like so. Take this little plate here, flip it up and cover the face, and then bring these bits out like that. Coming to the underside so we can see what we're doing. We're going to close these bits in like that, flip out these panels like so, maneuver the legs up and through those gaps, and then we want to rotate them like that, push all of this in. It's a little bit tight, but then again, it is an old figure that we're dealing with here. And we can close up that cavity. It's the same thing on this one. We want to be sliding this down. There we go. And close that cavity up. And then you want to be pegging the legs just like that. Same thing there. There we go. And then push the arms up, tapping them into place as you do on the little brown pegs. That fits snugly into holes right there. Close up these little panels here, flip this bit back, tab all of this into place, and there you go, one Ramjet transformed back into jet mode. So that's been our look at the Revenge of the Fallen redeco of the movie Starscream into Ramjet. It is an acquired taste of a figure. It's not aged particularly well. Since this mould came out, we've had so many better versions of a Starscream archetype come out. Revenge of the Fallen was a massive update, and then we've recently had the Studio Series, which is like the best version of a Starscream kind of character to have ever come out. I mean, sure, it's an upscaled Dark of the Moon mould, but it works is the main thing. It's borderline perfect. Ramjet here, and the mould that he has, yeah, it's not very good, is it? Would I recommend him? Well, if you're a Seeker completionist, sure, knock yourself out. He is an exclusive, after all. He was very hard to come by back in the day, so there is an appeal in terms of his rarity. So if you're a collector and you value that sort of thing, absolutely go for him. But if you value more modern day articulation and the more modern aesthetics that Transformers have, he won't be for you. He very much is a product of his time, and yeah, I think you've got to really love the character and really adore what's going on here to really appreciate and to really want this one. Otherwise, I'd say go for a Studio Series Starscream. You'll have a better time. But anyway, thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this review. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.